Obviously tough one today. You guys never stop battling back. But just from the first half to the second half, what was the switch offensively to be able to, sort of play your own pace, unlike what was going on in the first half?
I think in the first half we struggled to get stops, and a big part of our offense just comes from getting the rebound and just pushing out. Even if we don't get the basket directly in transition, our offense flows really well with transition. So we were able to get a couple stops in the second half. That just helped us get our offense going a little bit.
You had a really tough defensive assignment today, having to deal with Danny Pippen and then having to deal with Tavell Beck off the bench. Just what was that assignment like, and what were you doing to be able to give yourself an advantage?
Um, with Pippen, he's a big, athletic, great player. Just trying to pressure him on the perimeter, trying to take away his rhythm shots. He got a couple in the second half, but again, it's just a team defensive effort that we really got to focus on.
This was one of the more temperamental games that we've seen you guys play this year. How did you sort of try to keep your composure with Kent State trying to get under your skin?
I mean, I've never been a guy who really gets into that type of thing. I'm here to play basketball. They can do whatever they want outside of that, but I'm just here to hoop. That's really all it is for me.
You've obviously been here with Boals for a while. You also had Coach Saul, but when you got your fourth, you saw Coach Boals go for bat for you, try to see what was going on. Constantly, he was going to bat for you guys today. Just how is it having a coach that's willing, to be able to speak up for you guys when he thinks you guys are getting wronged?
Yeah, Coach Bowles, definitely a guy who always wants to fight for his guys, whether or not the foul was really a foul or not. It's always good having a coach who has your back, and it's just a guy who I love playing for.
This game was a real tale of two halves. Obviously, the first half didn't go your way, and then just trying to overcome that deficit was basically the story of the second half. When you look towards this rematch in March, what do you feel like you can take away from today's game to be able to come out successful in the rematch?
We just got to rebound. That's all it is. We got rebounded by 24. I think they said it's unacceptable. You're not going to win any games with that happening. So that's the only thing. We just got to rebound.
Ben, they found themselves getting into the paint a lot, especially in the second half. What was the defensive plan? Because we saw you guys sort of stop them every now and then. What was the defensive scheme for tonight?
They have a couple guys who can shoot, so we were trying to take their shooters away, but just being in the gaps as much as we can, try to take away their drives. That's a big part of their offense. For spurts, we did it. They got a couple buckets in transition, just bad communication on us. They got some easy buckets, but in the second half, we were just trying to take away their driving lanes. That was basically what it was.
And going back to the offensive scheme, you guys missed your last 7 shots of the first half, but things seemed to change. You guys became hot offensively in the second half. What did Coach Boals say in that locker room that sort of created that spark?
I think a big part of it was just us coming out defensively. That was our biggest focus. Like I said earlier, our defense leads the offense a lot. So we were able to string a couple stops together, get a couple steals, and get easy buckets. And it's a big confidence booster at any point in the game. And that's what we were able to do at the start of the second half. We just weren't able to string them together the entire game.
You had a career high in threes today. Is that something that you want to do more of? Do you want to take more of those shots, or do you prefer to work in the paint?
You cut off for a second there. What was the start of that question?
Oh, you had a career high in threes today. Is that something that you want to do more of, or do you prefer having more of a presence in the paint?
I just got to take what the defense gives me. Coach Bowles just has so much confidence in me to be able to make the decision of whether I'm going to post or take the shot. And if I'm open, he always wants me to shoot it. So we had a couple advantages in the ball screen stuff with Pippen guarding me, being able to flip the ball screen. So and Jay's a great passer. So I just got some open shots, and that's just been a part of my game, yeah.
Obviously, you'll play these guys again in March. Is it better knowing that you have another opportunity to get at them, with them being a divisional opponent?
Yeah, definitely. Especially they come in here in the convo and steal one from us. Definitely something that the rest of the team is going to be looking forward to come March to be able to go to their place and try to take one back.
Obviously, tough one, but tale of two halves, especially for the offense. Just what was Kent State doing early on to be able to speed up the guys, and then how were you able to, combat that in the second half?
I think we just came out flat. The ball movement was there. We weren't being aggressive. And I think in the second half, we just became more aggressive on offense.
You're usually not shooting as many 3-pointers as you had to today. Just how did that sort of affect your rhythm? Even though you were hitting them, just is that what you like to do, or did you feel like you couldn't really get into your game today?
I shot some open threes. I made some. I really just play out the defense guards me. I'm not playing a specific game each game.
I know this was more of one of the temperamental games for the team. Kent State was, talking. There was a lot of back and forth. Just what did you feel like you learned about your team today from a toughness standpoint? And are you looking forward to, being able to get back at them in March?
For sure. Definitely are. Next game will be a lot more prepared. And not saying that's Coach Boals or anything. That's us. That's on the players. And we got to be ready from the jump to play them.
Jason, towards the end of that first half, you guys seemed to struggle offensively shooting the ball. They kind of forced a lot of contested jumpers. But start of the second half, your offense came out firing. What did you guys do differently offensively in order to regain that spark offensively?
Like I said, we were just being aggressive, and we were going downhill, and we made a lot more open shots in the second half than we did in the first half.
It's just your second game back. How are you feeling personally? And do you feel like, was there a difference that you felt from physically this game from the Miami game?
No, I'm fine. I feel good. It's a blessing to be back out there.
Jason, earlier in the second half, you guys had that 8-0 scoring run where you and BVP had those two back-to-back threes, and then you had that layup. And like a game like this where it's really shot for shot, you guys are fighting to kind of keep up with Kent State. How important are those like little scoring runs that can kind of give you a little pad for time and kind of give you guys a little more boost to kind of keep up with them?
It's definitely important. But, we shouldn't even have put ourselves in that hole to begin with. But since we did get into it, we hit some shots, and we still missed a lot of open shots in the second half. And we didn't get the 50-50 balls. They got a lot of offensive rebounds on us, and we can't let that happen.
Obviously, coming into this season, this team has a lot of hopes, a lot of hype. You've been able to beat the Miamis, North NIUs. What's the next step to be able to take down a team like Kent State, a BG, or a Toledo?
To be prepared right from the jump. Like I said, as starters, we weren't ready to play from the jump, and that's on us. That's on us individually, and we won't let that happen again.
So, obviously, tough one. Guys didn't stop battling back. But, in the first half, you knew coming in that Kent State, their defense was going to be a challenge. What did they do to you guys offensively to be able to speed you up and, sort of slow you down in that first half?
I think, they came out the first two wars, the first 8 minutes of the game, and set the tone for the whole game. And, we every time we would battle back, we dug a hole in the first half, battled back, cut it to 8. We couldn't get that 50-50 ball, the long rebound, knock down an open 3. And, even the start of the second half, we came out, had, cut it to 9, I think, and they ended up getting it back to 17. Thought we missed some wide open shots. And, when you're down to a good team, those open ones you got to make. But the game came down to them imposing their will, on the boards, most definitely.
Yeah, Kent State played with a lot of emotion. It seemed like when they would get fat, Beck would come in and give them an extra jolt. Just what did you learn about your team today in terms of toughness and being able to battle back with a team that's constantly in your face?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, that's one weakness that we definitely have. And if you look at it, that was number one key coming in. They averaged 14 and a half offensive rebounds a game. And we knew they were going to do it. Now it's a matter of, one-on-one collectively as a group, rebounding and not letting them, set the tone. And I mean, they had 10 offensive rebounds in the first half, which, they had average 14 for the game. And like I said, when you're down 14, that's a lot to come back from against a good team. And, we had some chances there late. I thought we played harder in the second half, but, you got to play a full 40 minutes.
Nuga was someone that you knew coming in that you would have to slow down. I noticed that it was sort of like a trial of London, Miles, and Mark. I know those are three guys that you've been really high on defensively. How did you feel like they handled that assignment today?
Yeah, I thought a couple of times we let our guard down. He's the type of guy, he doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off. And he's obviously a good three-point shooter. And, he and Pippen coming in averaged 46 points in MAC play. And I think in the first half, I'm not sure exactly how many he had, but first half he had 10 points, second half he had 6. But, when you give a kid confidence like that and he demands a lot of attention, you got to take things away that you can and not let him catch a rhythm three. And we did that a couple of times.
It was a career high for Ben in terms of three-pointers. Is that something that you want to see more of from him, or do you prefer to see him working in the paint more?
Well, I think both. He's capable of doing both. He had been struggling, shooting the ball, and thought he got great looks tonight. And sometimes when in the first half, I think 16. There was a point where 16 of our 25 shots were threes. When they're not going in, I think we were 4 for 16. That's when you got to get the ball inside. Second half, he started hitting more, and, Jason Preston hit some in the second half. But, I don't think we took advantage of inside like we should have.
What's the first step in making this a better rebounding team? Is it technique? Is it the weight room? Is it the effort? Like, how does the team become better on the boards?
When the ball goes up, we'll go back and watch. We're pushed into the charge line. You have to create space. You got to create contact, carve out a 3-foot area. And then, our guards got to rebound, or, bigs got to rebound. Everyone's got to rebound. So I think it's definitely an effort deal. It's a individual mentality and a collective mentality.
I know there was a few moments in this game where tensions were high. Just what did you learn about yourself today as a coach, and how did you feel like you handled those moments?
Yeah, I probably overreacted. Their head coach was barking at our assistant coach to sit down and said a few choice words to him, which I didn't appreciate. Him talking to our bench, and I overreacted in that situation. And they have some guys in there barking as well. But you gotta keep your emotion in check in a game like this. And it's easy to talk when you're up and things are going good, and definitely got to use it as a learning experience.
Obviously you have a month and a half until you play Kent State again. I think it's the last game of the regular season. Is it better to have a longer wait to play the second opponent or a shorter one?
Well, I think as a competitor, you get beat like this, you want to play them, pretty close again. But we're not to a point where we can look ahead. Joe, it's like now we got a game by game situation. And if you look at our losses, we've given up a lot of points in those 4 losses, a lot of points in the paint. And, we got a lot of stuff that we need to work on. And, good thing is it's middle of January. We got a month and a half to figure it out. But, it's got to be consistent. It's got to be habits. It's got to be carryover.
Danny,
Coach, so far you guys in the conference have been able to beat, the Miamis, the NIUs. What's the step next to kind of getting able to compete with, Toledo, Kent State, Akron? What's the step to competing with them and taking them over and beating them?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be defense. You just mentioned the 4 teams we lost to, all 4 are really good offenses. And, when you allow Travell Beck, to get 18 points, you allow Malik Jacobs, guys who, exceed their point total. I thought the first half we did a really good job on Pippen. He had some tough shots in the second half. But the secondary guys, like I said, like Jacobs and Beck, those are the ones you can't let beat you.
Coach, towards the end of that first half, going back to Kent State's defense, they forced a lot of contested shots. You only made one of your last 11 of your last 7. What did you say in that locker room to sort of reignite your team's offense and sort of better handle Kent State's defense?
Yeah, I think, it goes back to the, when you're 4 for 16, I think in the first half, 4 for 15. When those are going in, things are good, right? But when they're not, now you got to start attacking the paint, throwing the ball inside. And, we didn't do that. They have 15 of our first 26 shots in the first half threes, and them not going in, that's a problem. And the biggest thing at halftime, we just said, hey, look, we got to flip the script. We were on our heels. They were the aggressor. They played the hardest. They had 10 offensive rebounds. We can't do that. And, just challenged them. And, our guys responded. They came out. Second half, played a lot harder. We had some really good looks. Like I said, we missed them. They made a couple back-to-back that extended to 17. Now you're just fighting, the last 15 minutes down 17. And I think, like I said, we cut it to maybe 8 points in the second half and, just couldn't quite get over that hump. But that's a lot to overcome against a good team.
And then you talked about Pippen. You guys knew coming into this game he was their leading scorer with averaging about 20 points a game. You guys seemed to contain him relatively well in the first half, but towards the end of the game, he started to insert his will, as you mentioned, and find the paint a lot more. What was your scheme to defend him throughout the entirety?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough matchup when he's making his shots. And, he's good mid-range, good three, and, really good passer, out of the post. And a lot of times he'll catch the ball at 17 feet and just back you down, trying to either make a shot or get you to help to kick to an open man. But, he, like I said, he's a good player. Second half, we didn't do near as good a job. I think he had 20 points in the second half. And, he's their guy.
Now you guys go on the road. What do you hope to take to learn from this game to apply to the next couple matchups?
Well, we got to get tougher. We got to individually get tougher. As a team, we got to get tougher. We're playing a team that's, playing really well right now, just beat Akron. They played us tough at our place. So we got to come in tomorrow and, watch the tape, get back to work, and we got a short turnaround again.
Yeah, coaches oftentimes wants their team to have a short memory, but you mentioned toughness. Is this a loss that you want your team to remember a little bit more to, don't let this go as quick as maybe an earlier season loss?
I think, when you win, when you lose, you can always learn, right? I always say it's better to learn from winning. But, when you lose, everything gets more magnified. You lose by 10, it's like we got out-rebounded by 24. We gave up 14 offensive rebounds. And when you lose, you got to understand why you lose. And now the why has got to be corrected, right? So what's the response going to be next game? What's the response going to be when we play Kent State again? And if the same response is, not rebounding the ball, getting out rebound 24, you're not winning a lot of games. So, we got to answer the bell. We got to come back to work. And, anytime you lose, like I said, you got to understand why you lost and, make the adjustments and corrections. And, to a man, you got to look yourself in the mirror. As a team, we got to look yourself in the mirror and, get back to work.